All right. Look at this. Guard your privacy, O'Brien. Okay. Seems like everyone can hear me. I have access to this feature. Okay. There we go. Not totally sure how this works. Maybe in the chat? All right. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm not sure if I can share. Can I share a different screen? Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's there. That's start. Oh, I see. Well, I'm getting a double. This is rather interesting. Okay, so that's how that works. How do I share this thing? Can I share the whole window? Oh, I see. Hey, there we go. Whoops. Man, this thing has got a lot of buttons. I'm not totally sure how this works. Hey, there we go. Cool. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Yeah, there's one of our packages. We still need to put the flooring on there and the shower systems. Oh yeah, I should pull those up. I wonder if we can put those in. Wait, that's not the right one. Can I go to the regular one? There it is. Cool. So these are what we, these are our shower systems. I actually really, really like these. Yeah, here we go. But I want all the colors. Well, there's colors. There we go. You can tell I don't do this that often. Syntax, tone, dimensions. I don't like syntax. Let's do this one. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. I'm trying to remember. I know the girls put a list together of which ones we're going to offer on these packages. Let's see. Where would I find that? Probably in Sheets. Let's see if I can pull that up, and then we can look at the ones that we're getting ready to put out. Here it is. Yeah, bingo. Yep. Yeah, so this is how we keep things kind of organized on the back end for us. But these are our packages. So Aspen, Telluride, they're all in here. And then we've got, yeah, Calcutta White. Well, actually, what is this one that Emily has put together? Telluride. Let's just look at that one. Nice. Yeah, so this is kind of how we keep them all together on the back end with our selections. Oh yeah, let's open this shower door too. I really like these Kohler shower doors quite a lot. They are a little challenging to move around. They're super, super heavy. We've got one sitting over there actually. Yeah, so that's, I think, is it the gold one? Yeah, this is the gold package. So, and I'm in the Telluride. Yep. So in the Telluride set, we do have kind of that gold fixture set, which is super popular. These happen to all be Delta, not quite, I guess. This mirror, I think, is Kohler, and this is a different manufacturer. But golds can be a little challenging to match, so a little careful on that one of kind of what we use. But this door tends to be a really good install and rather, what do I want to say? The Kohler color matches the Delta color pretty well. So we've mixed and matched those a few times. The Pfister, Pfister, the Pfister colors are not. I like the Pfister set, and I like their products, but it does not match very well with anything else. It's a very yellow kind of gold. So neither here nor there, but just something to kind of pay attention to when looking at golds. They can be a little tough to match. So if I go back in here, what was our Taj Mahal? Okay. Taj Mahal. There it is. We just put one of these in last week, actually. We haven't really opted to go with many of the matching bases. Like this has a matching shower base. We haven't really done much of that. But we have installed, I think, does this have shower base right here? Yeah. I like these. I really, really like these Dreamline sets. So what we've been doing is installing these Dreamline shower bases and then putting our shower panels on the sides after that. So instead of it being kind of this all one, one color, I think the white shower base actually looks a little bit nicer. So That's what we do. And when putting these packages together, that was kind of something that it would have been a little easier to go this route, I think, because we can get these cut to fit any size, any drain location. Like it can be fully customizable, which is fine. It's not the end of the world either way. I just thought that the white shower bases like this look a little nicer. So obviously we could swap that out if you wanted to. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. So that's kind of what we got going on. I'd be curious if anyone, um, what anyone thinks of that. We're kind of thinking of like bathroom in a box, sort of like we'll put together the package, make it really streamlined, really efficient, really easy. My thoughts behind it is more of like a rural application and just sort of um, for those remote areas where they may not have a lot of access to some of these things, or you can still get it ordered to you, but sometimes just having someone help put that together is nice. So when I think back about doing stuff when I was a little bit younger, or a little bit newer, or didn't quite have the resources, this would have been very, very helpful. So that's kind of the goal behind it, is just to make it pretty easy. And then if we install them here in the Denver metro, um, we'll do I'm fairly certain we've done one of them, and I think it took us about 9 days, and we were fiddling around a little bit, and that's still a good turnaround time for the most part, but I think we can do them in 7 days. So that's the goal, is to do these installs and these packages kind of preset, make it pretty easy to turn around, simple to install. One thing that I was a huge I was very much against these types of systems. Like I wasn't a huge fan of them for years, long time. I was a tile fanatic, and there's definitely still people out there like that. I know plenty of builders and plenty of installers who are like just tile diehards. Um, I think there's a place and time for both. I like these inserts. I like these installs. I like these panels for a lot of different reasons. Um, and we're actually seeing, to be quite honest, without even really promoting them all that much, lately I've seen like a 50% swing, or 50-50 basically, of people either choosing to go a tile route or choosing to go with these panel systems. And I'm just letting the market kind of guide our hand, if you will, with what people want. And I think having those options has really opened up my eyes and sort of my mindset to like, at the end of the day, it doesn't always matter. It doesn't matter what I think. Obviously, I'll give my opinion and give my advice and give my suggestions based on what some of our clients and our homeowners are wanting, as far as like an end result, or sort of the goal that they're trying to achieve. But yeah, so that was interesting. Again, since we pulled these packages on, or since we pulled these Centrel panels on, we've seen, like I say, roughly a 50-50 split between clients who want a tile shower, or a tile walk-in shower, versus like, no, let's actually go in with these. They're a PVC product. This is actually one of the only products I've ever seen uh, Sharpie permanent marker be able to come off of it. It was a kind of an interesting little test I did. I think the team's still working on that video, but basically I just wrote Sharpie on one of our samples back there, and then I was able to just wipe it right off. I don't know if I've seen that happen too many times with other material. I know if you did it on tile, if you did it on stone, no, it's not coming off. And obviously that's a pretty drastic situation. Like, how often are you putting Sharpie in there? Like, it's, don't get me wrong, I understand that that's not very realistic, maybe, or not a real scenario that would happen, but it could. And I think just understanding the pros and cons of different materials, that's where it came from. That's where it's like, oh, let's just see what happens. So that was what was pretty cool about this. I can't speak for. I'm thinking of like acrylic. These panels that we use are PVC product with like an overlay. Well, I don't even know what I want to call that. They're like a PVC core with like an image, like a printed image overlay. And so unlike acrylic, because I think acrylic, you basically just get the color it is. And I don't know as much about that side of things, but if you think of like Bath Planet, Rebath, um, is it Bath Masters? There's a few other ones, right? They tend to use acrylic, which is fine. Again, there's nothing wrong with any of those products. It's just different. So something I liked about this was the color, the patterns, the shades, they all looked a little more real versus the acrylic stuff. I don't like as much. Obviously, that's why we don't carry it, and that's why I don't put it in. But at the end of the day, these have been something that I never really thought would be that. I didn't think it would catch on, especially for myself. I really didn't think I would lean into them as much as I have. So yeah, we do the Central panels. These guys are based out of Ogden, Utah, or right around Salt Lake, somewhere over there is where they're manufactured. So I do like that, especially with whatever you want to call it, the tariffs, the regulations, the ups and downs, trade situations, out of country. Obviously, some of their raw materials probably come from other places. Like I'm not sure on the specifics, but in general, when it's made in America, that's always kind of nice. I was chatting with some other builders at lunch, whatever, last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and we were just sort of going over um, cabinet manufacturers because we tend to install a fair amount of kind of flat pack or like assemble on-site cabinetry. We don't always assemble it, but some of our suppliers will assemble it at their warehouse. But they're coming over, on large tankers and big crates and freight shipping situations overseas. And I know they're probably going to get hit fairly hard. So it's hard to keep up with. Honestly, it's like one day we've got them, one day we don't have them. So I've been trying to just sort of price things as they come. And then as we get close to a project or close to ordering, I'll just double check it. And if it moves, we'll try to just be fair with our clients and make sure that we're understanding of the situation and everybody kind of communicates on what that looks like. So anyways, whole point being like made in America. I like that. And that's the panel system we decided to go with. So Central panels out of Utah. I like them. That's what we use. It's been good so far. Their lead time's about 3 weeks. And something that's been really fun that I've been behind the scenes, this is what I've really been trying to work towards, is like working with vendors and manufacturers that will ship across the Rockies. I don't know if we'll ever go, on the East Coast or even on the far West. I like the Rockies. I like being in that region. I can see us trying to have some divisions in those places and things like that. If things go the way I hope they will. So we had just figured out with both Centrell and Ferguson, our account rep down here told us today actually that we can ship virtually anywhere. I guess I don't know about Centrell, but Ferguson told us we can ship anywhere in America. No different than shipping direct to here or direct to any of our project sites in the Denver metro. He's like, yeah, we'll send it wherever you want. So that was pretty neat. And I think that's a key driver in some of these relationships that we're kind of trying to put together. And that's where I think hopefully that scale is going to start to come from, is some of that, and being able to provide those products and these types of things sort of at a package level. And then we can just kind of implement them in different areas and places that we end up kind of trying to set up, other places. So yeah, so that's what we've been working on behind the scenes, is sort of these, we're calling them the Northbuilt Signature Series bathrooms. The key driver there, I think for us, is just like a repeatable installation, a repeatable product set, something that we can really stand behind. And I also think that the one day bathroom leaders, maybe you'll call them, they only do showers, right? Like they only do the wet space. And there's nothing wrong with that model. Like honestly, I have no issue with it whatsoever. It's simplified, it's streamlined, it's efficient, it's effective. There's a market for it. There is a need. There obviously people wouldn't buy them if they didn't want them. So it's like I have no problem with that whatsoever. I just don't really want to compete with them, right? If I think of Rebath is a massive company, like huge. I think on the remodeler top 500, they're like number 4, and they specialize in wet area remodeling. So it's like, why should I, or why would I as a small group try to compete with that? So I think that's one thing that differentiates us with these a little bit, is simply the fact that it is the entire bathroom. Obviously the model then gets a little more complex from an installation perspective, but by eliminating tile, I think that's where we're really going to find that both clients and installers, whether it's our team, someone else, whether we ship it to you and you're like, hey, great, thanks, Alex, you dropped off this pallet and I have everything I need and I'm just going to put it in. If you don't have tile, it's going to go in way faster. It's going to be easier. It's going to be, I think, well, I know it's going to be easier to maintain. It is going to limit some of the selections, and I'm aware of that. It's not going to fit everything. But again, when I look at just the comparison versus, like I say, a Rebath, they're a great example, or a Dream Style, or anybody like that, where they are kind of a replacement contracting firm and they focus specifically on showers only. I think the differentiator, or something that is missing in the marketplace, is the complete bathroom remodel, right? Like the whole thing. And so, what we've been doing is trying to figure out how we replicate that model with the entire bathroom. So that's where it kind of originated from, and that's what I'm trying to do with it. Is, again, think bathroom in a box, right? We assemble it, we put it together, we bring all the parts and pieces together, we crate it up, and we ship it to you. That's what we're trying to do. I think Ferguson, the manufacturer, Ferguson Home, they're pretty close. Like, when I think of what they can provide for us, I'd say that the key things. So I'll get off of that. But the key things they're missing, I mean, they've got all this stuff here. I guess they do have flooring, but the flooring that I like to use and that I prefer, they do not carry. So I think they're lacking a little bit there, but they're pretty close. They are pretty close. I also don't know. Yeah, they have like the traditional 3-piece white kind of acrylic or fiberglass units. But again, when we think of what clients are really gravitating towards, you can put that in, sure, or you can get a system like what I just showed from Centrell that actually looks a lot nicer. So I think that's the key difference there. Is it's like, what is the cost difference that much? No, it's probably extremely comparable for system to system, and then you just get a better look. The installation is going to be nearly identical. You just get, like I say, a nicer design, a nicer look, and so that's where I don't know. I mean, Ferguson's becoming an absolute powerhouse. Like they're starting to dominate, the product market, I guess, for, I'd say, specifically bathrooms, just because they originated as a plumbing firm. But again, kitchen, lighting, hardware, appliances. We get appliances from Ferguson. We get a lot of stuff from Ferguson. Not necessarily because it is like the absolute best price, but because it's a very consistent and systemized process for us. We can talk to one rep and he can get us anything on the product list, or basically on the website, plus more. So not everything is listed on the website. A fair majority is. Some of the specialty stuff, when we get into our custom bathrooms, aren't. But if you're looking for a kind of a one-stop shop, I would say Ferguson Home is an absolute game changer when you compare it to a Wayfair or a Paragold, Crate and Barrel, kind of. Some of those, I would say, kind of traditional like home goods sites and home goods stores and things like that. Although they have similar things and they may have different styles, I don't believe that I know that those products aren't as good as what Ferguson has. So I'm not sitting here trying to say like these guys are the absolute only one to use. But if we look at Wayfair, I'm actually curious now. I very rarely ever go on Wayfair. I just don't. I don't even bring it up. I don't. Yeah. Furniture, home improvement. What do they got here? Let's see. So if I look on this, pop up. Brands, Delta. Okay. Hardwares, windows, flooring, kitchen remodel, fixtures, sinks, mirrors. Oh my gosh, go away. Jeez. Where was I? I already don't want to be here. Go away. Wasn't I just in kitchen, home improvement? There we go. Let's just look at it Delta side. Tell me, oh my gosh. Go away. Man, there's enough pop-ups on here to drive me insane, if you can tell. Okay, so all right. One more and when we're done. This is ridiculous. Nikolai widespread, 5 colors. I've seen this a few times now. I really like the double colors that's coming out on Delta. That's fun. It's actually our Big Sky package that we're putting together actually has the double color, which is this one, the black and gold. So let's see. Let's check is it not available? Okay, so Delta 209. I like how they say it was $495. That's always a funny thing to see. So 209 Delta. Are we on the Nikolai? Yeah, Nikolai widespread. I'm fairly certain. Well, let's just go to big sky. I'm almost positive it's in here. Shower, sink fixture. There it is. Oh, I thought it was on the big sky package. Is it in the Aspen one? Maybe. Give it a minute. Come on up. Well, that's the Nikolai with the arch. Yeah, here it is. Oh, wait, but this is the arch. I think this one was. Oh, no, that's the arch. Oh, insane. Insane. Does this actually work for people? Like, do you just hit agree and give me a membership? Like, what? It must. It must. I don't know. This is an insane amount of pop-ups, though. What if we had like 6? Okay. Matte black, champagne bronze, Nikolai widespread 3-hole. I'm trying to see if there's like anything particularly different that is going to be here compared to their 8-inch widespread. Yeah. So this is everything I see here looks like it's a Delta product. Yeah. I mean, that's a Delta sheet right there. Okay. And then what's this one? $297. Shit. That's 80 bucks, $90, 209. Yeah. That's a $90 difference. Is the neck taller? Spout reaches 5 inches. Height is 863. Okay. Okay, here we go. 5. I mean, that looks like the exact same set. So interesting. Okay. Interesting. So, I mean, evidently, and maybe they're not. Let's see the gold. I'm curious now. This is interesting because it's like I am always trying to figure out like the best price, but like how is I would imagine that Ferguson is doing way more volume than Wayfair. So how are they not getting a better price regardless? Okay. Oh, did this go to gold? There we go. Champagne Brown 227, 174. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'm done. I'm out. Bye, Wayfair. I've had enough of you. So yeah, and we obviously get it says pro price. That's not actually the true price we pay. Again, everything, and that's why it's hard. People will go online. You know, if you go online and you see your price, if you were to look up this price right now, I'd be curious if anyone's on right now. Go and look at Ferguson Home. Go type in Delta Nikolai, and it'll pop up. There's 2 versions of the Nikolai faucet, but I bet your price is not the same as my price online. And I know this just because one of the girls, when Carla looks it up, her price is different than mine too. And we're on the same account, but she's in a different region. And so her IP is telling them that it's from a different place. So it's whatever. It's not always the same. Again, which is fine, but something to just note, like until you actually get into the checkout and know what your price is. And for us, we just put them into a project and then send it out the door, and our rep gives us our true price. Again, I don't, there's not a real rhyme or reason to it, but that's what we'll do before we price out a custom set. Is we'll put together a full workup of all the things we're going to get. We'll send it over to the team, and then they'll kick us back what the actual is, and then that's what we'll base our pricing off of is what we truly pay. So because at least in recent, he's told me like the Delta discount for us is different. It's not universal. It's not like 10% on your whole account. It's different. I'm trying to remember what he told me, but it varies. And the big one he said is not necessarily the fixtures, because they have a lot. They've been doing plumbing for so long that they've got that, I'd say, a little more dialed in or negotiated or whatever with those larger manufacturers. But he told me that lighting is where the discounts across teams, across vendors, across accounts, whatever. He's just like, it changes quite a bit on the light fixtures. And so that's why he's always just like, just build the sets, put it in the projects, make a project, and then he'll go and review it and allocate the right discounts for the product lines and stuff like that. Obviously, he just clicks a button and it does it, and then he sends us the printout or emails us the tab sheet so that we can see it. So yeah, that's how we do it. Again, I'm just kind of spitballing, but ultimately we use Ferguson Home a lot, and those are just some of the little nuances that we found kind of over time when putting together orders and picking stuff out. I like Ferguson. Even if you pay a little more, they stand behind their stuff. Wayfair is a pop-up city. I'm actually curious if it'll come up again. And we've actually what's hard is that a lot of people will find some tubs on Wayfair that I can't find anywhere else. And we actually do have one tub from Wayfair over there, and that one's fine. But the one before, shoot, it was probably like 8 months ago, maybe about a year ago now. We ordered a tub off of Wayfair, and it came broken 3 times. And they're just like, okay, we'll send you another one. We'll send you another one. We'll send you another one. And they're like, just throw it away. And they don't charge us for it. But it's just like, man, you just went through, or your shipper or whatever went through 3 different bathtubs. Like, how do we figure out a solution here? Like, what do we got to do? And so I noticed on this recent one, it was packaged a little bit better, because you can't blame those drivers. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we get, like I say, off of Wayfair, off of Ferguson, if it's coming from, which Wayfair almost always is, if it's coming from a FedEx or UPS, one of those just standard everyday kind of mail carriers, or off the shelf type of situations, those guys they're not equipped to lug around that heavy of stuff. And so, it just gets banged up. It gets beat around in those trucks, and they don't have very good and effective ways to move them around. They're just like picking it up. And at that point, I mean, they're heavy. So I don't blame that. I just think that it's part of the reason. I think it's just wasteful is what I'm saying. Like, it's just kind of wasteful. So I was glad that the one thing we ordered from there this year, yeah, we've only ordered one thing from there this year. It was this tub back here, and it came undamaged, looks fine. The client really wanted that size and that shape, and I just said, sure, we could do that. It's not the end of the world. So we do it occasionally, but I don't prefer it. Yeah. So that's just kind of some of the stuff about where we get some materials, where we order from. And again, just touching on like our series here, we've got the Northbuilt Signature Series. We're trying to build this out a little bit more. I think Emily only has one of these so far, but once we get it done, we'll issue this out on social as well. Kind of let everybody pick through it and see what they like, what they don't like. Oh yeah, I should have been showing that the whole time, because I don't think, yeah, she doesn't have these ones ready yet. But yeah, that's kind of the goal. They're just going to be pull and replace type scenarios, curated. The designs actually, I think, look really nice. Like I said, the team put those together. I'm just kind of helping make some adjustments and refinements, and then Emily's putting together this lookbook so that we can kick it out and get a feel for it from everyone else. So yeah, that's kind of what we've got. Obviously, aside from that, we still do all of our standard remodeling stuff. I was trying to remember. I was looking at this the other day. Something that we've got a kitchen on here. We've got some main floors. We really only do bathrooms now, so we probably need to update that. We probably need to take it off our off of our services too. Yeah, we've got some okay stuff on there. So yeah, well, I don't know if there's even anyone on here. I have no idea. I don't see any construction related questions, which is fine. I mean, I can sit here and talk about this shit all day. I just like doing this stuff. I'm trying to think what else I could talk about. I don't know. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Bathrooms, custom bathrooms, semi-custom bathrooms, bathrooms in a box, signature series, one-day showers, anything with a bathroom we're trying to do. And I think that's going to be, it's fun. I like bathrooms a lot. When you think about it, it's like you use the bathroom a lot. Like the kitchen, sure, maybe, again, if you just think of like a standard person or a standard adult, maybe, like, let's just say it's a couple, you get up in the morning, coffee, breakfast, whatever. Sure. Great. Same thing with the bathroom, right? You're getting up, you're using it. And I would almost say that so let's put it this way. If I'm thinking through this a little more logically, right? You're getting up, you're using the kitchen, you're using the bathroom, you're going to work, right? Doing stuff at work, whatever, doesn't matter. Just talk about your house. You come back in the evenings, you're going to use your kitchen, most likely. Maybe you order in, whatever, doesn't matter. You're going to use your kitchen and you're going to use your bathroom. But if you think about like, maybe that repeated use of a kitchen versus a bathroom, right? So you're going to have appliances in your kitchen, and it's like, okay, well, do you use the oven twice a day? Probably not. Maybe. It depends on what you're cooking, what your lifestyle is. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. But in general, if we think of on average, are you going to use the oven twice a day, every day? Probably not. Are you going to use the microwave every day, twice a day? Maybe that's a pretty high use appliance. I could see that. Are you going to use the dishwasher twice a day, every day? No, probably not. I mean, again, unlikely. Now, if you have a big family, then sure. And we're talking about other things, but it would be, I would say, linear. And so that's why I'm really bullish on bathrooms, and I just think that they need the attention that they deserve as a smaller project, um, because they're going to get used. They get used so religiously. Like, I just think it's an important aspect of the house. A lot of people are like, "Oh, the kitchen, is the heart of the home." It's like, sure, I don't disagree with that, um, you know, but the bathroom is like, I don't know, the stomach, right? Like, you need that. It's there. It's functional. So why can't we give that the attention it needs? Anyways, I'm sure there's people who agree and there's people who disagree, but that's a key driver behind us and behind my sort of mentality around it and why we're focusing on bathrooms. I think it is a small project that tends to attract a lower caliber installer or team because they are usually a lower barrier to entry, and honestly, based on my experience, it tends to be sometimes a budget issue. Like, you're almost always trying to manage or mitigate a budget in some form or fashion, and so that can be challenging. But ultimately what happens is you have guys like me who, you know they kind of go up these construction ranks and they get into bigger and bigger things, which can be fun and challenging and different. And there tends to be more dollars with larger. Well, there it is. There's just more dollars involved in larger projects. It's just the way it works, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And so when we come back down and we look at smaller projects, they tend to be handled by a more direct team. Simply meaning that it is me telling you about this bathroom. It is me, signing you up for this bathroom. It is me designing this bathroom, and it is me installing this bathroom, which is fine. And that's how I've done it for a long time. There's nothing wrong with that. And then as you start to do different projects or different things, it's like, oh, okay, well, you become less refined with the process and with the system. So that's what I'm trying to like merge the two together. And some of these bigger companies are doing that already. West Shore has a line that I'm kind of modeling it after. Um, let's see, West Shore. Yeah, BJ, there he is. BJ is the owner. He just actually, they just bought the naming rights to Penn State, the Nittany Lions. So that was kind of cool. I don't know him personally. I just know who he is. But West Shore, yeah. So these guys are doing. My bad. There we go. So shower, conversions, walk-in. So that's all the standard one-day stuff. Now they have flooring and vanities and toilets. So they're starting to get into the full bathroom model picture too, which I think that's where the industry is going to go. And I just want to be the person. I just want to provide a little more value. I think that let me just see. Well, I know that their selections are a little bit limited, maybe, or less refined. Like they can do 2 or 3 days, so they're turning and burning, which again makes total sense. We're trying to do ours in 7, so ours is double the time. But I would honestly say it's if we're really thinking about it and what I know from their model to our model, their price is probably the same as our price, and we're just giving more. I think that's kind of the game you play when you're smaller. We're also not spending the amount of overhead that they are on certain things, but we're maybe not making the margin either because they're doing it in 3 days versus us doing it in 7. So it all probably kind of shakes out, I suppose. Shower, flooring, vanity, toilet. Yeah. So I'm curious if they do. Oops, we're in your area. They have pop-ups too. Go figure. Yeah, like that looks a little funny. I wonder if this is computer generated. It seems a little bit iffy, or if that's an actual project. Oh, this is a 3D remodeling visualizer. That's cool. That's something that big companies have that we don't. Obviously, for a variety of reasons, and it's not the end of the world. But I just think that is such a competitive advantage that big teams have with the money that they make and the bandwidth that they have. Like, those little things make such a difference. Just with understanding like what it's going to look like. So that's the whole goal, is for us to be like, well, these, you can visualize all the different stuff, like anything and everything, different color, different style, different shade, different type, blah, blah, blah. And my goal is just to be like, this is what it's going to look like, right? Like I can't put that in your specific bathroom with like a 3D visualizer like they do, but I can give you a pretty good representation of what it'll look like. I think the downside to this one, which we generated, was it's not going to be a gold. It's not going to be a gold quarter turn and a gold. I think it looks very gold. Uh, yeah, I'm not going to put that gold. Sorry, that'll probably be just whatever's already there, which is most likely a chrome or a brushed nickel with a braided line. So that part won't be gold. But again, the point here is just to be like, this is what it's going to look like, and I do believe that our package. Well, I know our packages they are a more of a designer focused type of a product for that type of a project, because that's what I like. I don't Let me go back to, and again, there's nothing wrong with this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this whatsoever. But I just don't think it looks as nice. I I just don't like it that much. And there's a few things, again, if we want to get nitpicky, it's like, well, this is AI generated. Look at that. I just noticed that it's got that towel holder is whatever above. So it did do the reflection though. That's impressive. So what I was going to say is like all of these should be black. These should be black. That should be black. Again, not the end of the world. I think this is a 3 fixture too, and it doesn't have a light on. Small details, but that's what happens with AI sometimes. So that's where the concept came from. Is I think as a model, as a contractor, bathrooms can be a little more manageable. I want to make clients happy. I want to make sure our team can fulfill it. I want to make sure if we need to jump in, even myself, and get in there and fix stuff and make sure we hit deadlines and things like that, that I can do that. Not that I can't with tile. It's just I'm not very good at tile, but I can put in a shower system. I can put in click together LVP flooring, and those are super durable. They still look good if that's what you're thinking, if that's what you're wanting, and they're very durable. I think if you have I like to choose my words carefully here, but if you have the average American home, let's just put it that way, right? And you want a refresh from a builder grade setup, what we provide is going to be fantastic. Like it's going to be way above the builder grade stuff that we see go in by Taylor Morrison, by Richmond, by why can't I think of the other big builder? DR Horton, right? Like if you think of those three as like major American home builders, and there's a few others in that mix too, KB Homes, whatever. Their initial, and I don't know if I should thank them for this or not, but their initial installation of a bathroom, it reflects something kind of like this. It's like, okay, it's all right. And I think that's why when replacing like for like, or a similar sort of setup like a West Shore will do, it still feels good. It still feels nice because it is that sort of a builder grade entry level, affordable product. And again, I don't know how affordable these are. I've never really looked into them, but I have seen West Shore, and I feel like a few others. Rebath, not so much. I'm actually curious now. Let's check on Rebath, but they're coming around to, I think it's just rebath.com. Yeah, which is like an amazing URL. Everybody's coming around to, I'll call them complete bathroom remodels instead of just the shower only, which again, I have no problem with that. But I think more and more people are like, why would I spend $15,000 to $20,000 on only my shower when I could get the whole thing for 25 or whatever, right? Like it's like the rip off the Band-Aid. It's like, oh, we just do a little chunk here. Well, if we have to come back and remobilize and get everybody ready and do the other parts, it's like, well, does that actually make sense from a dollars perspective and from a schedule perspective? Like maybe not. I don't think so. So that's why I've kind of struggled with that shower only remodel type or service, just for some of those reasons. So let's just see. So yeah, they call them full bathroom. I don't like that term, but it's not the end of the world. Out with the old, into the new. All right, here we got Durabath. I didn't know what they called that, but I did know that Rebath made their own particular line. I think they own the manufacturing behind it, so that's what they call it, Durabath. Natural stone. Okay, so they've got a vanity set. Oh, they have tile? Oh, no, I don't think that's real tile. Flooring, tubs and linings, bases, vanities, wall surrounds, and actual stone wall surround. Yeah, I think that's an acrylic, but maybe not. I don't know. There's tile there, and these might not even be their photos. I do not know. I have no clue. Before and afters. Here we go. So that's a vanity. Flooring, sure. Yeah, okay. I'm still not fully sure. Bathroom remodel services. I'm not fully sure if it is the whole bathroom then, or full remodels, accessible. Yep, those are the walk-in tubs, tub shower conversion. Okay, and this is all making sense. Like I said, this is normal stuff that we see that we've known about forever. Again, most of these companies have done all of that, and they're just starting to do these complete or these full bathrooms. Okay, so I think this is data damage storage, our complete bathroom remodeling process, high quality. Yeah, so I think they are starting to do everything. Um, which is kind of a bummer because it's like that. I thought that was going to be a little bit of a competitive edge for us. Ah, that's okay. That's okay. We've got some other stuff that'll work. See design gallery, I guess. I don't know. It's funny how these websites, and obviously I try to model after some of them because it's just like they're big enough that they know what they do. I would assume that they've done some studies. They know the data, like they know where people click and where people don't, and everything is like just do a free consultation. So I have even me. It's like I'm getting enough info to figure out a little bit, but not enough to be like I know exactly what it is. It's just not quite there yet. Durabath, white picket, brushed linen. Again, I'm not sure teak wood. Yeah, so I think these are sh- shower system. Fuck, I don't know. Let me try this. Teak wood, warm and inviting. What's this? Natural stone. Where's that? Okay, so that's in the shower. Okay, I actually don't mind that. That's a decent thing. Birch Riverside Vanity in birch driftwood. Okay. So they do. Okay, they do mowing. They do the hanging vanity, like fixtures. Okay, all right, Rebath, I see you. So that theirs is starting to look a little more like ours. If I look back at this one and go like, okay, is that comparable? Right? Is this comparable? Our package is that comparable to West Shore? Not even close. From what I can tell, West Shore is still not really at what we're different. You're gonna attract a different client. That's fine. And so if that's what you're looking for, West Shore is a great option. Rebath, it looks like they're having some options and some availability to get kind of into. That says ceramic tile? Maybe I'm confused. I didn't think Rebath did those kind of things ever at all. So maybe I just don't understand some of the new Rebath stuff. Design services, full bathroom. Yeah, I would have to sign up and have them look at it because there's some things behind the scenes that I'm not familiar with. But anyways, that's kind of what we're trying to do is something like that. Again, our model isn't fully built out yet, but I think I think the key being there is it's like we're probably going to be able to provide a little more value if it makes sense. I want to be able to try to ship these to people in some more remote areas. I think the purpose that we have is going to fit a little bit more to kind of rural America. If I can make that work, that's what I'm trying to do. Mainly just because that's where I'm from. So, whether it's on Nebraska or West Texas or whatever, somebody out there kind of in a remote part of the country that's a little bit more challenging to get certain parts and pieces. And I understand that it's almost easier to get this stuff, or it typically is easier to just get this stuff than it is to actually put it in. That is the hard part. So, if you're in one of those areas, if you're up in Montana, I think what we'll end up doing is we're going to build out kind of some sort of a referral network of builders and remodelers and of smaller teams. Because again, when I think of like what would have been beneficial for me in when I was up there full time and I was bags on and doing stuff, it's like if somebody were to, like I say, almost pre-sell a bathroom package, and then I got a phone call either from them as like a partnership deal or from that client who was like, I'll just find my own person. I just need you to send all the stuff. And they were like, hey, Alex, I've got all the stuff for my bathroom in my garage. Can you put me on the schedule for whenever you have an opening for installation? Right. And I think the the double-edged sword, or kind of a two-pronged arrow, if we think about it, is like it's ready to go. And if it's a bathroom, especially like a secondary bathroom, it's you could maybe do it in phases, meaning like, perfect, yeah, let me do the shower this week. I've got 3 or 4 days. Let me knock that out. Great, we'll get you up and running. And then let me come back and do the floor, the vanity, and the toilet in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. I gotta fit a deck in there, or something. Who knows? Like, that was always kind of a struggle. And I think, again, if we consider a standard or an average American home a 3-2 that has two bathrooms, it's like, yeah, they might be okay with that, and that's okay. And if you can get them up and running again and everything's good, and then come back and do the rest of it, there's some, again, small town America, rural areas, there is some flexibility that I don't think comes with the larger metropolitan areas. Just from like a human to human perspective, it is a little different. And being, I would say, very familiar with both ends of that spectrum, I have kind of seen that. And like, in the metropolitan area, in a Denver metro, and I'm sure there's places, like, I would bet, just from my general understanding, that the East Coast would be even more challenging. But here, people, they have options, they have choices. So if you can't make the schedule, they could choose someone else, or they could find a backup, they could find a replacement. Like, they're not willing to just like sit around and wait. And unfortunately, in rural areas, remote areas, that's just kind of the only choice. And that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's just how it works. And so, like I say, if I can help one or two builders in these smaller areas get a little more leverage, basically, on their time, and like I say, just from my perspective, put together these packages, put them in clients' garages, and have them ready, so that whenever they get that opening, they don't have to do that front end paperwork. Which, if we're being honest, for those types of guys, that shit doesn't pay very well. It just doesn't. And a lot of times, what they'll do, and again, I did this too, is you just push it off to the homeowner and say, hey, Mrs. Smith, I would love to do your project. I don't have time. I don't have the knowledge. I'm not sure how to put this stuff together. Can you just go buy the things you want? I'll tell you how much, get 90 square foot of tile, get 45 square foot of flooring, like whatever. Just go to wherever, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, go to Menards, go to McGuckins, go to the store, go to the lumberyard, order whatever you want in this much, have it shipped in, have it ready to go. And then as soon as I get some chance, or as soon as I get some availability, I'll come out there and I'll put it in. So again, I think regardless, it's almost always kind of put back onto an owner, onto a client. And then that's where it just gets hard. It gets hard. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it work. I have no idea, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And I think there's some, bandwidth there, some room to run with it. I'm, like I say, I'm curious. I'm being a little more cautious to not just like say, hey, we're doing this. I'm just like kind of seeing if it gets traction, if it makes sense. One thing I've kind of toyed with back and forth that I'm not totally sure on just yet is how to handle the deliveries, because our two main manufacturers, or our two main suppliers, maybe you'd say, is going to be Ferguson and Central for the panel systems. Sure, I can ship those, and Central, I feel fine. That's an easy thing to ship. They come in, crated up. They're tough. They're durable. It's an easy unload. It comes with a freight carrier, like all of that stuff. The Ferguson orders tend to be a little bit more tricky. They really, really do. And the way that they get boxed and palleted, not in a bad way, they do the best they can, but sometimes it's like, we've got a mirror over there that got a forklift through the side of it, or dinged the edge of the frame. So it's like, well, if I'm shipping this stuff all over, it's like, how do you manage those types of things? Like, oh yeah, we need a return. So hey, Mrs. Smith, can you put that out in front of your driveway? I think like next week sometime, and they'll pick it up. It's like, okay, that becomes, that part is where I think there's going to be friction. So for the first few that we put together on the Signature Series bathrooms, if it makes sense, and if somebody in somewhere in Montana wants one, I'm probably just going to have it here, box it up, make sure it's good to go, and then take it up there. And I'm just going to do that for the first few times until we maybe get something figured out. And after we do that a few times, I think what'll end up happening is I might try to bundle like 2 or 3 in the same area, and then ship them, and then we'll pallet them, nicely and put together well and ship them out that way instead of me like hand delivering it, so to speak. We'll still package it, bring everything together from all of our places, and then just send it on a carrier directly from us. I think we might have better luck if we do it that way, because then we can at least we can quality control the first batch or the first round of it, and we know exactly how or where or when it got damaged and things like that, and we can handle it from there. So that's the thoughts. That's kind of where I'm going with it. Again, I've kind of chatted for about an hour now. I have no idea if anyone's on here. No clue. If you are, hope you got something out of it. I have no idea. If you have a construction question and you are on here, throw it in the chat. I'm not sure. I mean, I can see the chat, I guess, but I have no idea. This is my first time. Still trying to figure it out. Like I say, if you found it interesting, kind of hang on. We're gonna do one like every other week. I think we're gonna do Thursday evenings and like Saturday mid morning. So Thursdays at 6, every other Thursday, and then every other Saturday. So yeah, would it be one Thursday a month and one Saturday a month, basically? And so if you want to jump on, if you had questions, if you want to send me some photos or whatever, I can obviously pull them up and share a screen and look at it that way and kind of go from there. So. Hey.